All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a real-world business mystery. We're talking about a successful e-commerce platform that basically overnight saw its sales just plummet. No obvious reason, it's a classic case that calls for a data detective.
So picture this. It's July of 2022. The company is suddenly in a full-blown crisis, staring at a nearly 20% drop in weekly sales. It felt like a switch was flipped, and you can bet panic was starting to set in.
And the crazy part was, the team was completely stumped. I mean, they hadn't changed their marketing, there wasn't some big new competitor, nothing that could explain this sudden nosedive. So they did the only thing they could do. They turned to their data, hoping to find some clues that would solve this thing.
Now this is that moment, right? You've got this mountain of data and one single burning question. So where do you even start looking? This is exactly where a data detective begins their investigation, using a structured way to cut through all the noise and find the real culprit. Okay, let's get right into the investigation. First, you have to establish the crime scene. We know sales are down, sure, but we need to know exactly what's going on to solve this mystery. Every detective has a standard procedure, right? A list of the usual suspects to check out first. Well, for a data analyst, that's often a framework called Aarrr. It's basically a tool that helps you come up with logical, testable ideas about what might have gone wrong. This framework gives us 4 key places to look. First, acquisition. Are we just not getting new people in the door? Second, activation. Are the users we do get actually doing anything important? Third, retention. Are they coming back? And finally, the big one, revenue. Are people actually spending money? Each one of these is a potential suspect for our sales drop.
So, using that framework, the analyst came up with 4 primary hypotheses. You can think of these as the 4 most likely culprits for the crisis. The plan was to start testing each one of these against the hard data.
So, the investigation kicked off with the most obvious suspect, a sudden drop in new customers. I mean, it's the simplest explanation, right? But the very first clue the data turned up, well, it led to a major, and I mean major, plot twist. And here is where the case just took a wild turn. That first, most obvious theory, completely shattered. The company wasn't losing new customers. Heck, they were gaining them at an incredible rate. Payments from first-time buyers had actually doubled. The problem wasn't getting new people at all.
I mean, just look at this data. It tells a shocking story. While payments from new customers were going through the roof, payments from their loyal, existing customer base had taken a catastrophic 40% hit. The regulars, the lifeblood of the business, were vanishing.
This clue completely changed the direction of the investigation. This wasn't a marketing problem, it was a loyalty problem. The mystery just got a whole lot deeper, and the focus shifted entirely to the behavior of their most valuable users.
So now, the investigation zeroed in on the strange behavior of these existing customers. The analysts started digging deeper, trying to figure out not just that they were leaving, but why. The data was about to reveal the smoking gun.
And here's the next bizarre clue. Existing users were actually clicking around more than ever, their activity was up, but they were spending 45% less time on the site. Now that points to one thing and one thing only: frustration. They were looking for something, they couldn't find it, and they were giving up and leaving.
To figure out where all this frustration was happening, the analysts turned to a technique called funnel analysis. It basically lets you map out the perfect customer journey, from the homepage all the way to checkout, and see exactly where people are getting stuck and bailing.
And the funnel analysis immediately found the leak. There was a huge drop-off right at the start of the journey, between people landing on the homepage and taking that very first crucial step, adding something to their cart.
The data could not have been clearer. The single biggest difference between someone who bought something and someone who left was what happened on that homepage. The people who were leaving were dropping off at a 14% higher rate before they even looked at a single product.
And that was it. That was the smoking gun. It wasn't about promotions or prices. The real culprit behind this massive drop in sales was a fundamental breakdown in the user experience on the most important page of the entire website. So, with the case cracked, the analyst could go from diagnosis to prescription. The data didn't just find the problem. It also pointed to a clear, evidence-based strategy to fix it and win back all those frustrated customers.
Okay, part 1 of the strategy was all about rebuilding that relationship with their core customers. This meant rolling out targeted campaigns based on what they'd bought before, creating a loyalty program to reward them for sticking around, and even making a special effort to win back the ones who had already left.
And part 2 was a direct attack on those user interface problems. Redesign the homepage to make shopping intuitive again. Add an add to cart button that's always visible so people don't get lost. Streamline the whole checkout process and use little cues like bestseller tags to make decisions easier. In other words, patch that leaky funnel.
You know, this case is such a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest business problems have answers hidden in plain sight, just waiting for you in the data. All it takes is a detective's mindset to follow the clues, throw out the wrong theories, and uncover the real story. So what story is waiting to be found in yours?